Hey everyone, my name is Shubh Jain and I am a Year 21 Aerospace undergraduate at IIT Kanpur, and I am here today to speak on a topic called dynamic soaring, the key to a powerless flight. Now, dynamic soaring is a gift of nature. This is a bird called wandering albatross. Now, like I said, dynamic soaring is a gift of nature. You will realize this in the upcoming slides from now on. Now, this wandering albatross burns less energy in air flying than sitting on a nest ideal. This is the answer to the question how to achieve a powerless flight. It is a bird with largest wingspan of nearly 12 feet, can fly for weeks without flapping its wing, uses a natural technique for flying called dynamic soaring. Dynamic soaring was even used by prehistoric birds and dinosaurs to achieve flights, which would have been impossible considering their weight, wingspan, and size. Now, what the heck is this dynamic soaring? Let's first know about soaring. Soaring means flying or rising high in air. How birds use it. Soaring flight is a special kind of glide in which the bird flies in a rising air current. Because air is rising, the bird can maintain its height relative to the ground. Since the bird is riding an air current, it don't need to flap and thus conserves energy. The large birds, when glide, like a glider, they always move downward, so they need to maintain their height. To maintain their height, they occasionally need to flap their wing because they are heavy weighted. But the Ventrik albatross's technique of dynamic soaring has even eliminated this need of flapping. Now, limitations of soaring, not for dynamic soaring, so not for wandering albatrosses. Soaring flight can only occur at special places and time. For example, when warm air is heated by the sun, it rises up, creating an upward force which can give a bird's height and air currents to ride on. These rising air currents are called thermals. They often rise up on the slope of a hill or over a flat ground. You would have observed on a sunny day with puffy cloud, you would see probably a good amount of eagles or vultures flying overhead. Vultures are kind of rare these days, so you may have seen eagles or hawks. Now, this is a small bird called frigate bird. Its species is called frigate birds. This rides on air currents like a roller coaster, can remain airborne for over 2 months, can cover up to 250 miles a day. Now, dynamic soaring, why so special? Wandering albatrosses using dynamic soaring can cover a round of Earth in merely 46 days. Again, uses almost no energy. No limitation like soaring, because the region or domain in which it is used is open ocean. So it can be practiced nearly everywhere on the ocean, given the weather conditions are perfect. So you don't need to bound to an area where thermals are occasionally created. The whole ocean is yours to conquer. Now, dynamic soaring. Our answer. Dynamic soaring does not rely on rising air currents. Instead, it uses the difference in wind speed between the ground and the higher. Wandering albatrosses are evolved to use this beautifully. They burn less energy flying than resting on their nesting. But even after examining, researching, and experimenting, we are unable to replicate this over ocean. Major reason being lack of an intelligent AI or a system to detect like birds the wind current to ride on or when to change wind current and things like that. Now, dynamic soaring, how it is done. First, there are four phases to dynamic soaring. The first one, the bird must climb up into faster airflow 10 or 20 meters above the ground. It climbs up facing the wind like this. This is albatross direction. This is wind's direction. Now the wind direction has an upward component and a horizontal. The upward component helps the albatross to reach altitude, but this component decreases their horizontal speed. So occasionally they go up like this, and then a moment come when their horizontal speed becomes zero and they take a curved sharp turn downward. You will see how. Now Uh, this is the second step. The bird makes a turn and heads back downward. From the ground, it seems that the bird has suddenly gained a tremendous speed. Like this, after turning, it goes down in this direction. So now it has, for its vertical speed, it has the force of gravity to increase its speed, and for horizontal speed, the wind's direction, horizontal component, increases its horizontal speed, and the vertical component of wind's direction is dominated by G, a gravitational force. Now after shooting downward, the bird, there is a region, a boundary, over above which this air glows, and below which is very near to the ocean, no wind. So albatrosses come in this direction and then make a turn here and then again goes and then repeats this cycle and then again. So their shape is kind of S-shaped path. Their path is kind of S-shaped path. Dynamic soaring works best in places where there are no upwinds, no obstructions that would block the wind and cause turbulence. This means flat, open ocean over the ocean or at the top of the ridge. Albatrosses uses this technique to support their multi-year voyages at the sea. So now this is their four-stage cycle. First they come. Uh, Here you can see this is the boundary near to the ocean below which no air exists. Wind is flowing like this. Now from there, with respect to their motion, wind's direction for them is like this, relative wind velocity. Now, the first part, they dive and then rise up, rise up, rise up, and then a point came where it comes where their horizontal velocity becomes zero. Then they turn down, and then dives down. And while diving downward, their speed increases, and then give them enough speed to turn and go back to the same height or more again, and then again go down, and they keeps on repeating this endlessly. This is an animation show depicting the same. It's going albatross. Now you can also see by energy conservation. Here it has highest potential energy but zero kinetic. Here it has kinetic energy but zero potential energy. And then again goes up and becomes zero kinetic and highest potential. And thus it don't need to apply any energy by itself to maintain its flight. Now, uh, after I have explained you this concept, let's talk about how I learned this. Now, it all started a day when I was a little child, when I first observed a eagle soar into the air without flapping its wing, compared to pigeon who constantly did. As a child, when I was around 8 years old, I was extremely curious, like children are. I made too many paper planes trying to figure out how they glide versus how that eagle glide. In this way of experimenting with different paper folded gliders, I learned aerodynamics, aircraft design, and the most important thing, how that eagle flight using the aircraft. And more on, I tried even using styrofoam gliders. You try different designs of plane. Uh, that dynamic soaring or soaring concept I got when during a birthday party. I was flying a paper glider and my paper glider flew over birthday cake with candles lighted. And I observed that plane suddenly got an upward jerk, turned its beak up a bit. So now, then I realized this part of air thermals rising over the candles due to the creation of hot air gave my plane a sudden jerk upward, which prolonged its flight time. And it was around the same time when internet became commercialized and cheap, and I used internet to research about this thing. and then I got to know the concept of soaring and dynamic soaring. Thank you. Uh, by the way, my main motive of joining IIT Kanpur Aerospace is building a drone that can use dynamic soaring to fly over ocean. This can give us uh, a very efficient way to monitor poaching and guard our oceans without burning much energy and do scientific research. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.